All right, so boom. You already know what time it is. WestJet has dropped another video literally 14 minutes ago. The Nelk boys just ended their career. Let's get into it.
Massive day for the unemployed. The NELK boys just had on Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and people aren't happy.
We just should not be doing this.
Well, we're too far too gone.
Here we have the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu.
And the comments are cooking them. Unsubscribe. This was pitched to Netanyahu like this. Don't worry, these guys are idiots. You can use their platform to push whatever propaganda you want. They won't push back on anything. You guys didn't even question him once. This is crazy.
One of the most, if not the most controversial podcast we
For sure the most.
But why?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. This is crazy, actually, right? But this could have been good or bad for them, depending on what they did during the podcast. Now, we ain't watched the podcast. We're just watching the WestJet rendition of it. So we don't have all the facts currently, right?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Just like in Pokemon, you know, there's a time and place for everything, but I feel like this is crazy, you know? This guy is sort of in a war, or, you know, as Putin would call it, a military operation. The NELK boys aren't exactly your bastions of intelligence. They're not journalists. They're not going to know how to push somebody of this caliber. Asking him if he prefers Burger King or McDonald's while people are starving, this is insane.
McDonald's, and to be honest, Burger King. I like Burger King more.
What's your go-to at McDonald's?
No, I'll tell you Burger King. We did the double,
Whopper?
Yeah.
They're just dumb and dumber. Like, I really doubt they meant bad, but I don't think they understood what they were getting themselves into. NELK challenged Netanyahu on one thing this entire podcast. It was his love for Burger King over McDonald's. Who cares about burgers? They started losing their subs. Bro will literally interview Netanyahu and say, I'm not educated about the issue. The amount of heat NELK...
Yo. Yeah, but I mean, if they're known for being goofy as hell and doing drunk boy shit, this sounds like a drunk idea. Hey, let's get this guy on here. What are we gonna ask him? Who cares? Let's just do it. This sounds like some drunk shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
was catching for this was nuts, so they had to bring in some like internet gurus for damage control. They brought on Hassan, Nick, Sneeko, and Myron Gaines, which like makes no sense. Like, you went from a world leader to chronically online Olympics. Again, these guys aren't journalists, and we all understand that this is a a high pressure situation. But when you're in a room with someone like that, you shouldn't be trying to humanize them. You should be talking about the conflict. The conflict is bigger than the person.
I mean, for any backlash, this is just an opportunity, again, you can't really pass up. I don't see it. Like, there's no one else doing this.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll sit down with any world leader in the world.
I agree.
Why is he acting all nonchalant, though?
Gays for Gaza is like chickens for KFC.
Let's bring it back a sec. How many fucking fast food restaurants are they gonna mention in this podcast? Like, what's next?
So
Taco
unserious.
Bell?
So
Like,
unserious.
Jack in the Box?
So unserious.
Netanyahu
So
for sure knows
unserious.
what he's.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is so unserious, dude. Like, how in the hell? What are the conversations that they're having on here, bro? What is this?
Doing and understands NELK's demographics and what he's aiming for here.
Good. It's a good point. Someone said having Netanyahu on is like having modern day history.
Oh, I saw that.
Which is, honestly, guys, I'll be honest. I'm here to... It's a good point.
He's like, what have I done?
We're here to learn, to be honest, guys.
They're pushing him less than Oompaville pushed on Mr. Beast, and that was a sorry sight.
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food.
Credit where it's due. They asked a good question, but when you get the answer, you don't just take his word as final. Like a good interviewer would, challenge his deflection, maybe like ask him for some evidence, stuff like that, cite some sources.
So this
and
is
I'm
real,
definitely
dude.
not saying I could do it either. I'm a fucking retard, and that's why I would never take this interview in a billion years unless I got a $250,000. Apparently, NELK boys actually went to Israel, and they were even kissing the wall, which, isn't even required. It's a personal decision to do, and people were calling this out.
Okay, so first and foremost, who the set that up? Was it Miriam Adelson?
Well, we actually toured the White House right before, and he was in DC. So it's kind of like a
Someone
hand-in-hand
must
thing.
have. Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't like, I love the NELK boys. I'm a big consumer of Happy Dad, and then was like, let's do this.
Even though Destiny here's popping off, like I kind of agree, like in nature, like these guys are definitely not well equipped for that interview. These guys shotgun 2 Happy Dads, tossed a Zin in their mouth, and like didn't prepare notes or nothing.
Yeah, they're like super bros. So I don't know why this would be a podcast guy, but you know what? It does make sense. It does make, even if this goes bad, this is a huge guest on their podcast, and they can say they have a guest that no one else has gotten so far, but it just wasn't going to appease the general different demographic.
Chilling with Biden must have been boring.
Next.
Next is crazy, but the tone of this conversation in general just feels so unserious. Next podcast, you should hop on with these two as the co-hosts. Regardless what you think of those people, at least we could all agree they wouldn't be talking about fast food.
Sure, we have a young audience, but they're not stupid, and we don't think they're stupid whatsoever. And I think this podcast is a perfect example of that. If you go and read the comments,
All right, let's take a second and read the comments. Reputation takes years to build and just seconds to ruin. Might be the worst brand move of all time. Kanye would have been safer. I've never actually unsubscribed from a YouTube account until today. Guy should be in front of an international court of justice for crimes against humanity, but instead he's on a NELK podcast. What are we doing? Not an interview, just a free 1-hour speech from Benjamin. Their audience did not like that. And like the dislike extension ain't looking so hot either.
Myron, we're seeing a breaking news, a tweet. LMFAO having NELK interview Netanyahu, who's like Ted Bundy doing a podcast with a woman. These dudes are f***ing retarded.
wow, Myron.
Like, is he really that wrong though? Like, I'm genuinely shocked they didn't ask him about like what favorite
Yeah, Kanye would have been safer was crazy. Hold on. Kanye, yeah, they're cooked.
shows
dude.
he likes,
They're
or like if
cooked.
he likes
They're
Skyler in
cooked,
Breaking
dude.
Bad.
I don't think it's the Iran thing. The main thing I just see is if I don't think people like if civilians are getting injured or killed.
We don't want it either.
And then they'll just have no pushback at all and like try to segue to a different conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other issue too is you see there's a lot more Palestinian protests. You don't see very many Israeli.
That's really what you're gonna segue it to? Do you guys remember the interview movie where like the people were interviewing Kim Jong-un and like joking around? Like this is literally that, but in real life. And even in the movie, they pushed harder. If I ever catch either of my sons watching the NELK boys, I will kill the NELK guys. Some of you might disagree, but I feel like it's a lot easier to, remain neutral on a topic unless you're literally interviewing one of the sides. This is where softball questions can't fly. And the funny thing is, they saw how big of a PR did.
And bro, like it's just crazy because what did they think was going to happen from this? What did they think was going to happen from this chat? Like, did they think that they were going to have like a stellar interview? Things were going to be looking up great. Everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's going to be excited. Like, what were their expectations from this? Because they're just getting fried. They're literally just getting fried. They're literally just getting cooked. They're getting put in the pan, sizzled down, sauteed, cooked, dude.
Disaster
Shit.
this was instantly, and then started bringing it on people that they initially deemed quote unquote too controversial. They're like, "Okay, we're on a sinking ship, we'll just platform everybody now." And to show how brain fried the NELK boys are, immediately after inviting Netanyahu, they invited a bunch of streamers right after, and like internet content creators, as if they're remotely on the same level of influence or any like metric. Not a single person above the age of 40 cares what a streamer has to say. Destiny literally talked to Bernie Sanders and AOC for a total of 15 minutes before they left. The backlash was so high, they immediately tried to do damage control with like more chaos, I guess. Look, this guy said something crazier. Look. It's not even a hot take to say that if you platform a world leader, it's gonna come with some propaganda, and you should, push back at it.
My dream guest is Kim Jong-un.
Both of
Kim
ours.
Jong-un, if you're watching this,
This is kind
we'd
of
like
like
to
that.
come to North Korea and interview
All
you
I can
as
think
well.
about is the interview when we're doing
I'm
this.
so down to pull up to Moscow and interview Putin too.
Yeah, we'll do everybody.
They'll go to North Korea and believe in every Potemkin village they see, like the fake buildings.
That's what's interesting about this. We just should not be doing this.
Well, we're too
But,
far too gone.
Here we
Bro is slurping.
And by the way, I want to say too, I'm not claiming to be an expert on this issue.
Why are you getting yourself involved in the crossfire with one of the main players? Personally, I don't think these guys are...
I feel like they know what they're doing. They did that shit on purpose because they knew it would go viral even if it was negative. And the thing is, as much as people are talking shit about it, if they were to go interview Kim Jong-un or Putin or someone else, motherfuckers would still watch it. Motherfuckers would, even if they came to hate watch it, they would still fucking watch it, dude.
they're evil. More so, they're just, you know, not the sharpest tools in the shed, and they didn't really understand the kind of like the gravity this situation would bring onto them. This isn't even about taking sides. And honestly, the only reason I'm talking about this is that I don't think you need to be an expert to understand that this podcast was a show.
Why do you think you're like so hated worldwide?
Well, a lot of propaganda.
They didn't even ask about the ICC. Like, apparently, France, United Kingdom are required to arrest Netanyahu if they enter the state's territory.
But now we're gonna
guys,
give the other side an opportunity.
We're gonna give the other side the opportunity, and I feel like, you know, that's just the way we roll, bro. And I think that someone has to do it, and if we have to take the fall and be the bad guys for having the controversial people on, I think we're willing to do it.
100%.
Low-key, these guys are cooked because no matter who they have on, people are going to cross-reference the 2 interviews and be like, hey, you didn't push hard enough here. Are you supporting this side? GG.
Yeah, no matter what happens, yeah, that's a bad look. But hey, do it for the content. I'm saying, do it for the bag. I'm saying, do what you do for you, brother. Do what you do for you.